Hello, everybody. Justin Stivers. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the Stivers Show. Very excited today about my guest, Kristen Corpion. Kristen, how are you?
I'm doing great, Justin. How are you?
Good, good. Good to see you. Friends and known each other for a little while, fellow attorney. Man, so we were talking before about all the different types of things that you do. I think like Superwoman is probably an appropriate title for you. Running a law firm, incoming president of the Dade County Bar Association, teaching. What else were you doing? A lot of different things. You know, it's got a organization SIDEBAR that you've got. So a lot of different things. So very excited to speak with you, and we got a lot to talk about. So, you know, where I always like to start, you know, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on, Justin. I appreciate it. This is a great program that you put on. So CORPlaw, a firm that specializes in working with small businesses and entrepreneurs throughout Florida. In addition to that, a passion project for me is supporting young attorneys. And I do that through a lot of different ways. Like you mentioned, I'm the incoming president for the Dade County Bar Young Lawyers section. I teach part-time at FIU. I'm an adjunct professor. I work with undergrads, and in the past, I've also taught at the law school level, advanced legal research and writing at FIU. The undergraduate class I teach at FIU is everything you wish you would have known before going to law school, so it's a fun class. And then SIDEBAR is all about building community, and we have a weekly newsletter that goes out to make sure that lawyers are aware of all that's happening in the South Florida legal community and how they can get involved.
Very cool. And so, yeah, correction. Incoming president, Young Lawyers Association. Jane is the incoming president. She'll kill me, I think, right? So.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
I added it in there, and yeah, Jane is the incoming president for DCBA, and she's fantastic.
Yeah, Jane's awesome. Yeah, I think Jane was the second person I had on this show. I think way back when. So yeah, she's awesome.
Trailblazer.
Well, so again, we got a lot of different things to talk about. I think, you know, when did you start your firm?
At this point, I think it's been a bit over 2 years now. Okay.
So, you know, I know your firm is making leaps and bounds, and you said you guys are definitely in growth mode, hiring people, you know, and different things like that. What would, you know, because a lot of people watching are younger attorneys or maybe thinking about starting their own business. And I normally kind of save this question at the end, but, you know, what do you wish you would have known 2 years ago that you know now?
Oh, that's a great question. Mindset is everything. Kill your ego. And I think lawyers, most of all, struggle with this, and learn what you need to learn to be an entrepreneur. Law school is great. It has its place for substantive knowledge. But in terms of running a business, you know, law school is not designed to teach you that. And I think the first year I really struggled with this mentality of, you know, when we were talking about this offline, trying to do everything myself and wondering why I'm spinning my wheels. You know, I'm smart. I'm a pretty good lawyer. I can run a firm. And that mindset is really wrong. There was a lot I needed to learn, and things started to improve for me once I admitted that there's a lot I don't know, and reached out to different programs to help me. And looking at you and others and seeing how you were building your firm, you know, helped me to see that something's not right? This is not a fair comparison. They're doing something really great, and I'm kind of missing the boat.
So can you be an attorney and be an entrepreneur as well?
100%. But there are certain things about the mindset of a traditional lawyer, I think, that need to be challenged and are a little bit different than I think the mindset of an entrepreneur at times. Lawyers by trade are risk averse. We're thinking about all the things to do to protect you, and we want gold standard protections. And I feel like entrepreneurs, in a lot of ways, they want to take the leap, you know? You're building the parachute or building the plane as you're falling, or however that goes. And I know a lot of lawyers who have a bit of both in them. And I don't think that it's fair to say you have to pick one or the other. But I do think at some point you need to acknowledge, you know, if there is a certain mindset limitation that's keeping you from being great at either one.
Yeah, so mindset is a huge thing, and you probably would have liked to. I mean, we all need mindset tune-ups on a daily, if not hourly basis sort of thing. But so I know we were, you know, kind of in a program together, you know, that kind of helps lawyers and whatnot. do you feel strongly that everyone kind of maybe needs a coach or some sort of, mentor along the way?
I really do. And I think this is a big challenge to where I was maybe 2 years ago, where I thought very confidently, I can be my own coach. I'm pretty smart. I can teach myself, new areas of law, and I got a graduate degree, and like, I've got this.
Yeah.
And
Good
I really,
skills too, right? Like, I mean, you like all those, yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of lawyers feel that way, right? We're smart. We can do it ourselves. And I think that's ends up really being a limiting belief. It's not the case that you're not smart or that you're not talented. It's just helpful to have someone help you through a process and kind of poke holes in the areas that you need to challenge for yourself. So I am a fan of the personal coaching and getting the help you need.
And you think that, so I know you're a business attorney, you work with, small businesses. I would imagine that that's coming at the mindset of, not necessarily entrepreneur first, attorney second. I don't know, it has to be one or the other, like you said, but I would imagine that's got to be helpful when you're speaking with prospective clients and when you're speaking with their clients, because they're not attorneys, right? So they're running small shops, restaurants, printing shops, whatever it might be. And sometimes, like, even I would imagine if I was in that position, if I've got to go speak with an attorney, it's a pretty like daunting task. And it's not like we're used to it because we're attorneys, we deal with attorneys. But for like, the average Joe out there, it's like you don't know what to expect. You don't know how much it's going to cost and whatnot. And so do you feel like now that maybe you've the lights come on a little bit where you're thinking more in an entrepreneurial way, do you think that's made you more of an effective teammate of your clients?
Absolutely. Because when they come to the table with ideas about cutting corners or, I can do it myself mentality, I'm able to empathize. I get it. There was, a week-long period where I tried to be my own bookkeeper and accountant. And it was like the worst week. It's not that I couldn't figure out how to do it or how to use QuickBooks, but I just hated it. And so understanding what it feels like to try to wear every hat and to be resistant to bringing on other professionals to help out, I empathize. Yeah. I really do, from the standpoint of somebody who's done it. And I think that allows me to have a different dialogue with my clients and to be patient with them as they're growing the same way that, that I've had to grow.
Yeah. So what about, I'd be curious to hear from you with obviously COVID and everything going on. And I'm not sure, what, if you specialize in one specific type of industry sector, if you do, you can share that. But what's kind of, how are your clients doing? Are they struggling? Are they still, do they feel like they need a business attorney on their side? Or is that one of the things where they're like, maybe that's not what I don't want to spend my money on that right now?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, what we've seen with our clients is that they still have the need. We've even seen a good amount of businesses launching and forming, even in the midst of this throughout the past couple months. And I feel like it goes back to that mindset thing that we were talking about. And there's just a difference between those who find themselves in an emergency situation and feel that they're going to, keep the foot on the gas, or they're going to press the brake entirely. And I feel like a large part of that is mindset.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked a little bit, I know you're involved in a lot of different stuff. Dade County Bar, and then you've got SIDEBAR. Maybe for people who don't know, what kind of is SIDEBAR and what kind of work do you guys do with that?
Sure. So SIDEBAR is sort of the brainchild of some different innovative lawyers. We've got a weekly newsletter that we produce where it takes a combination of events going on throughout South Florida, and it compiles them all into one place. It's free, and it allows folks, I think it was originally envisioned for younger lawyers, though we've got plenty of, not traditionally considered young lawyers who are in our readership, to help people know what's going on. There are so many great organizations in town that it can feel overwhelming to have to open each individual newsletter for, DCBA, APAVA, CABA, MD Fall, all of the acronyms. This newsletter compiles it all into one place, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback about it.
So I'm curious, with obviously, a large part of the associations, the different bar associations out there. A large part of it is built on in-person networking, CLEs, all that type of stuff. Obviously, when we're filming this, what's the June 9th? I should know because it's actually me and my wife's anniversary. Thank you. But so there's as of right now, still things are starting to open up a little bit, but it's still kind of shut down and whatnot. Is that so? I guess what I'm thinking is, bar associations, I feel like for a while have kind of been trying to find a way to change and to adapt with the times and to bring in a younger and more virtual based type of client anyways, right? Like I think that it's not even necessarily younger. I mean, attorneys in general, I think that networking is never going to go away, right? I think that's always still going to be somewhat of a component. But in today's age, people are busy. People have a ton of events. People have a ton of stuff that they're doing. And I kind of sense that like some of these associations were kind of trying to find a way to meet people where they're at now, which might not necessarily be the traditional in-person networking event or even the hour and a half lunch CLE type of course. So all that being said, with that maybe being the trend, if you saw that as well, and now with COVID and everything, do you think this is kind of like teeing up where all of this is just going to be completely revamped and changed, or what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the need for change has been there for a while. I agree with you. I think folks involved in the local bar association see that, and they care about the organizations, and they want to hear the feedback from folks who maybe find themselves uninterested, so you could figure out how to do what the membership wants and how to attract new members. And here, COVID-19 has really created a unique situation where we're kind of forced to implement different models and try different things. And I think some of those things have yielded success that I hope, folks would consider repeating. At the same token, I understand those who really miss the in-person events. I feel like before the social distancing was in place, I was probably at, and I'm sure it's similar for you, at least 2 or 3 networking events a week. And I do miss having that in-person interaction, but I've always been a fan of the remote and digital solutions. So I think in the future, we're going to see more of a hybrid scenario.
Yeah, I'm torn. And we were talking before, I used to do a lot of in-person meetings, lunches, breakfasts, and same, a lot of networking events. But now, I don't know. Now I have nothing unrelated to fear of getting sick or anything like that. It's just more so like, I've been in the past couple months extremely productive. The amount of stuff that I've been able to get done, and it's not meant that I'm not like meeting with people and talking with people and whatnot. It's just been different. So I don't know. I'm interested to kind of see where this goes. I agree. The networking, it's fun, but also I'm sure most of us who go sometimes after a long day and it's like, crap, now I got to go to an event at 6:37, get over there, hang, and you're exhausted. So I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Well, so I want to touch also a little bit about, I know you're teaching at FIU, right? So maybe talk a little bit about that, or.
Sure. I'm an adjunct professor there. I teach in the Honors College at the undergraduate level. I'm also the academic advisor and coach for undergraduate trial team called the Panther Mock Trial. So I've got the privilege of teaching prospective law students. And you remember, I don't know if you can remember that time when you're just so eager to go to law school before you're miserable in law school. Right. And so their energy is really great. And it's a good amount of time just even teaching one class, but it's worth it to work with that next generation and kind of feed off of their energy, which is so high.
Yeah, where do you see, this is maybe a big question, but where do you kind of see the shift towards law firms and the legal practice in general? I know that like you said, you've always been kind of a proponent of offline, digital, and remote as much as possible. And but you started your career at a big law firm. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, I don't know that necessarily big law is going away, but this younger generation, I feel like they're not, the big law is not going to draw them like that for younger attorneys. That's not going to appeal to them, but I don't know.
Oh yes. I mean, every firm culture is different. So in generalizing, I'll throw that, caveat out there. Every firm has a different culture. But if we're just looking at generalizations, we've got an older, more stodgy type of model. And in the face of younger folks coming in who question everything, and they feel that that's their due. And we're having in-depth conversations about, mental health issues in the profession, thinking through business development, building soft skills, in addition to being a great technical lawyer. And it's just not the case that young lawyers are coming out willing to toe the line, do what they're told, and not ask questions. I think there are some, but for the most part, the next generation is just inquisitive in a very different way that I think feels to some of the old guard like a challenge or like something that shouldn't be done.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm thinking about my wife's company is a global like marketing company, and the type of things that they put out there, with everything that's going on, like they're keeping everybody informed, like constantly holding town hall meetings, open forums where everybody's debating stuff, and I'm just like, man, law firms need to like catch on to this type of stuff. I feel like law firms in general, and just tend to be very close. Like it's just kind of like, this is the way we've done it all the time, and this is the way we're going to keep doing it.
Right, and a young lawyer who comes in proposing alternatives is very much shut down and it's like, hey, young buck, slow your roll. You're not allowed to participate in this dialogue until you've been here long enough that we'll, respect your opinions.
Yeah.
And I just think that for young folks, that response is not what they're used to receiving, and it's difficult to allow for a long-term relationship building.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well. So on that note, and kind of winding down, I know you said so mindset's a big thing for you, but what would you, what advice would you give either to these, youngsters, getting ready to start their career, or maybe even, since I know you work with a lot of younger attorneys starting their own practice or solo and small law firm owners, what type of advice would you give to them?
So from somebody who is a terribly rebellious soul, so take it with a grain of salt, I'd say, you don't have to follow the herd. And if you are getting certain inclinations as a person that you would like to do something different than what seems like generically what is expected, follow that inclination. It's okay. You're going to find people who have trailblazed as well, who, will be kindred spirits and who can help you do what it is that you want to do. At the same token, if the more traditional practice is what you want to achieve, that's perfectly fine too. We need, our traditional lawyers just as much. For any young lawyer coming through, whether you've got a traditional path or you want to pursue a non-traditional one, you've got to be willing to ask questions and know that it's okay if you don't know what you're doing and what's next. I feel like the expectation that a first-year lawyer or a baby lawyer with zero practical training comes in and just knows how to do everything is really unfair one that our industry imposes. And so for any of the young lawyers feeling lost, know that at some point we all felt that way. It's okay. And there are people who will support you through it if you just ask for the help.
I think that's awesome. I think that makes sense on both the lawyer level where, it is a profession where saying I don't know is frowned upon. That's not, and it goes back to, 1L sitting in, the classroom and the professor calls you, and if you haven't read or you're not sure, you get, basically embarrassed in front of, 70 other really smart people. And that's a shame because we don't know. I mean, it's not like, it's not intuitive for us. It's a, brand new area. So ask for help. And I think, hopefully you're fortunate to find somebody who gets that, right? And so I always tell my employees, I say, listen, like, I don't care if you don't know, but ask me, don't just sit there and like, don't try to figure it out or don't ask for help and just throw up your hands. Like at least, make the effort to try to figure it out or again, ask me. And same on the business level. I think like if you're an attorney, or, you know, like us, started your own firm, like I've never started a law firm before. I didn't like grow, you know, so it's like very, very new for me. And you don't just automatically know how to do all of it. So that's why, you know, to go back to your point, get coaches, get a mentor, find ways to get involved, ask around, and don't feel like you just have to kind of do it on your own and suffer through it. Because there's plenty of people who have done it and are doing very well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Kristen, thank you so much for being on here. How can, you know, best way for people to find you, get in touch with you, all that good stuff?
Yeah, my pleasure, Justin. Thanks for having us. Me.
The collective us. Sorry, the collective. Yeah, I got it.
Long day. In terms of getting a hold of me, you can reach the firm at 1-833-545-7526 on our website, www.corplaw.us. The firm at CORPlaw on various social media channels, you know, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then same for connecting with me at Kristen Corpion on my personal accounts. Happy to connect through whatever medium folks prefer.
You're on all of them. Awesome. I love it. So, all right, Kristen, thank you again. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a good one. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.